Hello guys, we're going to start on the 64 today. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not keeping this one. Um, the main thing is, I know I'm going to get a lot of slack for this, but this engine, if it checks out good, it's going to end up on the 63. Because this one, it doesn't have a tight steering on to going to the right, because everything on the steering is a little bit different. I'm going to swap some stuff around between the two tractors, and then this one will probably go up for sale. The thing here is, I'm not going to fix everything. It's going to get some belts, it's going to get stuff tidied up on it, and then I'll probably off it. I've got more projects coming in. So, we will probably, from what I'm seeing on this engine, because I did some peeking around, there's hardly no hours on this. So, it will be a very good engine for the 63, if I'm right. So, that's if the mouse didn't screw anything up. So we will have to see. I freed up the variator the other day, so that's working. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to pull the nose off of it, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, I got the nose off. So, next thing to do is clean up all this stuff. Do I have any gloves? No, I don't. But I do have thought I had one sitting around. Let me see. Here's one. A rag. Now, I will have to clean a lot of this stuff up thoroughly. I think somebody left this thing sitting open for a few years. So, I'll have to sweep the floor. And let's see. I want to get this thing apart. I want to just check this intake. Now I am gonna probably okay. Alright, so that's good. Okay, let's do it this way. Gonna take it off of here, like so. Put that top. Put that there. Break this loose so it'll swing out like that. And just move stuff around, so don't know where my regular screwdriver is. It's probably in one of the bags. Leave that sitting there. And yes, this is the original Muffkin. Come on, get off of there. So that wasn't too terrible, and there is some debris in here. Choke works. So let's see. I got an idea. So to lessen the stuff that gets sucked in, I need to move that out of the way. We're gonna do it this way. Now I'll have to go out to a carburetor and take the spring stuff off of this so we can actually operate it. And let me Now I also have to check the shroud. But let me see. My light's not out here. But for the time being, let's check the oil. I'm guarantee you that's low. Yeah, it is. I'll have to add some. Let's see. Shaft feels good. So, while we're here, we need to take this off. Put that over there. Okay, so it's got the points that the bigger engines have, so that must be a newer thing for a 64. And it's missing a couple parts. Either somebody's been in here. Yeah, somebody's had to be in here at one time. It's missing the retainer and it's missing the plunger boot. I think I should have those used, but I have them. So that means the engine will have to be reset. Let's go ahead and pull that stuff off. Okay, so we need this screw here to come out. And that comes down. And we need a 3/8. Right there. To crack loose the point adjuster. That one's tight. There we go. Just needed a wrench. And if we can get this running, I can reset the points. Now many people make a mistake on this, okay? They'll replace a condenser and just leave it hang. You cannot do that. You got to have the condenser grounded. I've had people say, well, we replaced the points in condenser and it still runs like crap. And their mowers get to me and the condenser's just dangling. I'm like, you can't do that. It's got to be grounded to complete the circuit. Shoot, that popped right off, so I'll mess with that. There, got it back up there. Those points need cleaned. So basically what that boot does is it keeps the oil off this from coming out of this cam for the points. Now there's one other thing I wanted to check, but we'll get the light to do that. Okay, I got the parts. I got my flashlight. So here's the plunger seal, and here's the stop, or the holder, I mean. So I'm interested in finding out which, clean some of the junk out of there, which coil this thing has. Because there's two different styles, usually. And I can't tell. It's either going to be underneath or of the flywheel or outside of the flywheel. I bet you it's underneath the flywheel too. So, let me make sure. Okay. Okay, so that's that. And then the next thing we're going to do is, before we get back to the points, is we're going to do like what I usually do and evaluate the carburetor. Like we did on the 63. Crack that loose, take this out. It's coming out really easy. Pretty clean. Okay. Now I did find out something. Uncle Pat taught me something that I didn't realize. On this style of adjuster, you're supposed to crack this nut loose a little bit and adjust it. I didn't know. But we're going to replace this. I think I should have another one that's like the style that I like to use. So I'm going to look around really quick, see if I have one, and then I'll be back. Alright guys, so let's move you a little bit. Now that's that. Okay, this has to go like so. And let's screw this nut back on further. Okay. So let's see. Get the condenser out of the way. I know it's probably hard for you guys to see. Okay, so we got that. Now we take this screw line it up. And we start it. Then we take the other screw and we position the condenser right. Let me see. Where did I put that? You know, red-handled screwdriver should be pretty easy to spot. And I was using it last night. Ah, there it is. Where it wasn't supposed to be. Oh, well that was dumb of me. I forgot that. Don't forget to tighten this bottom screw first. One of these drawers has feeler gauges. So let's get it close. There it is. These are just some junk ones that I got somewhere. too far. These come out a little bit more. Perfect. Now I forgot that spring that goes on that one. Put that over here. Now, I'm looking really quick. Let me find something for that. Then I'll be back. We're gonna replace the fuel line. I'm not gonna show you that. But we should be close to firing it up after I put some oil in it. Alright guys. As you can see, it will run. I just had to run off spray a little bit. I still have to do the fuel system, which, like I said before, I'll do off camera. I had a little bit of an issue with it, and I was chasing my tail. I had the point gap too wide. So, it does smoke a little bit, but you gotta consider, this thing's probably been sitting for years. Plus, there was a mouse nest in it. The intake valve was a little sticky. Plus, there was a mouse nest in the exhaust. I know that, so, you know. So, I'm going to show you that it runs, and then I'm going to do like I did to the last one. But this, I'm going to do it off camera this time and pull this cover. And evict any mice. So you can see that it wants to run. I think the smoke I was seeing out the exhaust might have been part of the mouse nest. But I don't know. It could have been somebody fogged the cylinder. But at Terrell's we have 2 air filters on order. One for this engine and one for the 63, even though the 63 is still pretty decent. But I still want one. So, like I said, I'm going to turn off the camera and go after this. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Once I get it on its own fuel source and let it run a little bit longer, this engine will definitely end up on the 63. And the 63 needs clutch adjusted too. I found that out. It's either that or the input seal is leaking. But, alright. Okay guys, let's see if this thing will actually lick off of gas. I didn't put much gas in the tank. Oh, we got gas. getting it warmed up. Alright guys, so, did I do bad on this one? No. I paid $350. Parts for these things are expensive. So, I got a good engine. It was going to be this weekend that I went to get the rest of the other parts machines, but it's tomorrow. So I'm going to cut this video here and maybe pick it up on another day, but I got to load up stuff. Because I'm predicting 2 to 3 parts machines. And actually one of them ain't going to be parts, one of them is going to be fixed up. So, yeah. So, one thing I'm going to have to do is move this pulley back out that somebody pushed in. They push it in because they could run it off the mower deck pulley and be able to go a little bit faster. They were, from what I'm seeing, I have to check the manual, but I'm pretty sure the engagement system came on all of them. I don't think it's ever had a deck on it. I'm not sure on that. Don't quote me. I'd have to look. But unless the deck, I think the deck actually is different. So I'd have to look. But I think they only used it for doing the garden. So. And that would explain why there's not many hours on it. I gotta take it off to take with me so I can get another belt. Well, I might just get a 3/8 by 34. And because this thing calls for a 33, but it's very hard to find a 33 that fits. But this thing's got the original David Bradley starter generator belt on it. And I was looking at the other belts, I can't find any names. Well, I did find one name, and it's not original. Here's a reverse belt, and it looks like it hasn't been used in a long time. In fact, it's pretty chewed up. And it don't even say any names anymore. But I may just get it functioning to drive forward, and that'll be it. I do have to do something with the left front wheel. I just noticed when I was working on it that somebody busted the bolt off in the spindle. For those of you who don't know, The David Bradleys and the early Sears Suburbans, the left front tire is left-handed thread. So, you gotta be careful when you're messing with these things. And they busted it off. So, I either gotta get another front axle, a different spindle, or drill it out. So, I'll figure it out. If I drag home one of the parts machines tomorrow that I would like to do, I would have a whole front axle. So, alright guys, enough talk, and we will see you on the next one. Or next part of it. Okay guys, I'm got the parts unit in here. And I'm going to be pulling this whole front axle. I was talking with a guy and it's easier just to pull the front axle for the 64. So, I'm going to do that off camera, take the hood off, the engine, a bunch of other parts off of this unit because this is a parts unit. Alright guys, so, usually you could just take this bolt out, drop the spindle out, and do it that way. The problem with that is you can break this part. I don't know whether to try it or not. But I already got another whole front axle. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. So let's try that. Tools are kind of scattered because I was using them to tear apart that other one. So okay, so okay, so that's out. So now that that's out of the way, we can oh yeah, that's right. This thing don't turn sharp to the right. That's the downside to this one, and it's partially the reason why I'm thinking about selling this one. Actually, I will end up selling this one. Other than all the cheaper made parts on it. So we got that out. Take my jacket off. Move the new axle over. Now's the hard part. So the let's see if this'll, if I got the backside lined up. I do now. Now there's threads in this side of the frame on this one. The parts tractor didn't have any. Okay, nice and tight. How it's supposed to be. Now the steering wheel's off of it because I'm going to be doing some other stuff to it. But there we go. Come on. How did we get it off the other one axle, and why is it not wanting to slide into this one? You know what? I'm going to try something. I'm going to take it down and do it. Which probably should have been what I did in the first place. There we go. We just had to make sure it was loose. So now I gotta line it back up. Yeah, so no, it'd be easier just get a 1-inch wrench or socket. That's a 15/16 for that bolt. Okay. This one took off way over here. So we hook back up our tie rod. Come on. Loosened, and which side is this? Okay, that's that side, so this one is this side. Okay, so take the washer out because it was sticking over. These rims didn't have any washers. Oh yeah, left-handed thread. Now it's not going to fall off anymore. Come on, get on there. You know, there we go. I hate it when they don't want to line up. Now we gotta make sure it's untightened for that. Uh-oh, what happened to my socket? Oh, it fell off over here. Alright guys, I'm going to clean up a little bit. let it down, and we're going to do something. Alright guys, now let's remember something. This machine ain't going to stay together like it is. So, as you can see, it will move. I don't have the proper belts exactly on it. One's real old, and the other one is a Kevlar from when I was trying the 63 out. Now, the goal is to have the 63 the main one for me. The 63 smokes and the engine's wore out, but you know, it still has tons of life left. Because I've seen these old not David Bradley, but these old Briggs smoke like a freight train before they give out. Plus I got other engines if I had to. But the main goal is the 63, because that's the one that is like what my uncle actually had. But I'm going to do some modifications to it. The steering wheel's off of this for a reason. I'm taking the dash off. And there's some other stuff I'm taking off. The engine is coming off. The 63's engine probably will end up on here. But, you know, it'll be a good project for someone. So, you know, once the 63 warms up, it don't smoke. So, you know, it's just that. And I thought I had a belt guard for the 62. Nope. The belt guard I got today is a 64. So, we got the belt guard for this tractor. So, that'll be put on. So, basically, this unit here will be really good. Or not really good, but my 63 will be really good when it's done. This one, I'm thinking about putting a dash back on it, but it's not going to be the 64 dash. I've got a 65 dash. So, we'll go from there. The rear tires are coming off, and I've got other tires for this thing. I've got new belts ordered for this, and an air filter if it ever gets here. So, we'll go from there. So, this tractor here will probably end up being pull start. So, alright guys, I'm going to take and off camera tear this thing down to the frame to where I need it to be. And then we'll push this thing out, bring the 63 in, and tear it down to where I need it to be also. So we'll pick up then. Okay guys, I got the front rims or front tires swapped. I'm gonna start putting it back together off camera because there's a lot of weird things. Then I may bring you back to show you a little bit on the reverse. I'm not sure yet. We are definitely gonna have to get into all that in the 62. The 62 will need the clutch freed up and a bunch of other stuff, so we'll probably get into that on that one, but for the most part I'm just going to slap this thing back together and get it ready.